Hey guys, welcome to me reacting to Game Theory, We Let Them Out, Boneworks slash Duck Season by the Game Theorists. Now, I reacted to the last theory, and they're continuing on it. So apparently the theory is that there was this guy who works... So yeah, apparently you're a double agent. So you work for, like... Gamond or like Gamond or something like that. I don't know. Like Gamond, who's the enemy to this like company that's I don't know, that's like that made I guess Boneworks. Well, not Boneworks, but they have obtained they made MythOS, and they obtained this thing called the Void, and Boneworks is the like defense system, like the gateway that's blocking the Void, so that way you don't that way the Void doesn't corrupt MythOS. But apparently, if you enter the Void, your consciousness can stay there and you can die in real life. So technically, you can basically become immortal. So yeah, that's what he was saying in the previous one. And I'm guessing, because he did tease that that's how maybe the animatron, like how the dog and duck season came out of the game, that's how he got released, was maybe with Void or something like that, or maybe the consciousness of our player is in the dog. I don't know. I want to see what maybe the theory is. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, anyways, guys, we're in the description. Make sure to subscribe to Game Theory. That links us in the Game Theorist. That links us in the description. Anyways, let's get right into it. Yeah, so that's the Void. Oh! Okay. Is that a cat? Game Theory.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where
wow,
today we're diving back into the Stress Level Zero metaverse. Ironically titled Game Studio, making some of the highest stress, fear-inducing VR titles currently on the market.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
Last time we covered the ins and outs of Boneworks. Their latest title.
So many people requested
Arthur
me to react to
security director turned double agent who betrays our company,
yeah,
hacks into their VR system, and ultimately achieves immortality by breaking through the safeguards to enter what's known as the Void.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
A state of matter that exists beyond time and space. To get there, we're
Void
forced to
is
fight
Boneworks,
through piles
apparently.
of nullmen, leaping VR head crabs, and clones of ourselves. More on that one later. So already the lore of this standalone game is interesting, but that's only one part of the story. As we touched on last episode, throughout Boneworks, there are multiple references to Stress Level Zero's previous VR title, Duck Season. Arthur hacks into Monogon using technology from a rival company named Gammon.
Gammon, that's what it
made
is.
The video game system and haunted game cartridge from Duck Season. The door into the Boneworks doesn't have a door handle, but rather has a signed baseball, one that's ripped straight from the room of our Duck Season protagonist, the 11-year-old David. We even have ourselves the return of mysterious messages left for us, the player, by a figure known only as X. So what does it all mean? What are these interconnected clues trying to tell us? Well, not only does it start to peel back how this universe works and how all these games are interconnected, it also starts giving us clues to Stress Level Zero's next big, scary, and bloody game. Like I said last time, Boneworks is a game about hacking into a demon realm full of murderous FNAF rejects, accidentally unleashing them and turning the world into a bunch of mind-controlled zombie bots looking to cleanse humanity with bloody vengeance. So that's cool, but perhaps most exciting of all, everything that we're covering today has led me to perhaps the most extreme conclusion I could make of all. Whether or not it actually ends up being the plot of these games, I'm considering it my own personal headcanon. That Arthur Ford in Boneworks isn't actually a man named Arthur. That isn't his original name. He is in fact a grown-up David.
What? Wait, what?
A lot that we have to cover today.
No way.
Shall we? Our story begins not with
Boneworks,
but rather with Duck Season.
Wait,
Specifically,
what?
my previous theory on that game. Back then, I concluded that the murderous dog that David fights was actually a human trapped inside of the game based on his smoking habits and his obvious desire to escape. That seemed pretty obvious to me, but then I took it a step step further.
That
Based
is
on
his
all the
dad?
references to
Yeah,
David's
that's his
father
dad.
throughout the game, the dog mascot of his baseball team, a secret code titled Bad Dad, Bad Kid, a tape labeled It's Me with the dog seemingly sending us loving messages, I concluded that the dog was most likely David's dad.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the how and why of the theory was a bit shaky. Why would a loving baseball player father go on to be turned into digital data and start murdering children, including his own kid and wife? But it was the best that I had based on the clues. And heck, it wouldn't be the first time in an indie game that a dad suddenly turns into a raging murderer. I mean, if it can happen to employees of an animatronic
FNAF.
pizzeria, then why not to him? Suffice it to say, there were a lot of Chekhov guns everywhere, and they were all aimed at dear old dad.
Other words, if you're gonna bring heat, you better use it.
But regardless
What?
of the rationale,
Nugget.
it was a theory that got a response. A response from the Stress Level Zero team. Here's what they had to say. Quote, when Game Theory made their episode on Duck
Oh.
Season, they were doing pretty good. End quote. Nailed it, guys! Stop reading
Wait.
the quote right there, my
No,
friends.
no.
We need to go on because that's all the information that you need.
But-
No, editor. Stop showing the quote, guy. No, stop showing the quote. Okay, fine. We will read the rest of the quote, but I don't want to. They were doing pretty good, but got a few things wrong that led to a couple wrong conclusions. I'll say it here as a developer and as someone who was in the dog costume for some of the live action footage. The dad is not the dog. We had
Oh.
plans to make a hidden ending that would have definitely shown this, but the scene would have required a lot of work and the game was already taking longer to get released than we wanted. That said, Game Theory sort of mentioned / brushed by a major idea behind what's going on, with the main game, Easter egg scenes, and, well, everything.
Wait.
However, Game Theory missed hitting the major point home. Hope when Duck Season PC comes out that we might see another attempt at a Duck Season PC theory. End quote. So close, and yet so far. My personal interpretation of what they're trying to say here is that while I got the dog identity wrong, the whole concept of human trapped in a digital or supernatural world,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that part of the theory was right. And now with the release of Boneworks, we actually
Yeah,
see
it kind of makes sense.
confirmed. The dog in Duck Season, just like Arthur Ford by the end of Boneworks, somehow comes to exist down in the void, the bedrock upon which everything else is built, which is how he's able to hop between the digital world of a video game as well as the real world to attack David and his mom. But still, we're left with the really important questions, at least as far as I'm concerned. How? And why? And who? Really, we just have a lot of questions left. But notice what they mention at the end of that quote I read. Duck Season PC.
Yeah.
A totally flat version of the original Duck Season game. One where you don't need VR. It's just like flat FNAF VR. It came out
Oh,
summer
yeah.
of last year, but went completely under my radar since, you know, I'd played Duck Season before. A lot. 7 playthroughs in total to get all the endings. I mean, I
Oh, yeah,
played
that
the game
cat
so
ending
much
was
that when I pick up a
creepy.
shotgun, ducks around the world tremble in fear. However, I should know better at this point since lo and behold, Duck Season PC had tons of new secrets hidden inside of it, just like flat FNAF VR again. Huh, I swear, I'm not looking for ways to compare these two franchises. The comparisons just write themselves. Anyway, the secrets in Duck Season PC do a
Okay.
lot to further the mystery of these games. If you remember back to Duck Season, most of the game's secrets were hidden behind throwing books, most notably this one, the Kid Wizard book at various objects around your house, which
Oh,
would in turn
yeah.
cause strange behavior, like blowing you up to giant size or taking you to hidden rooms. In Duck
Oh, I
Season
hate
PC,
that,
there's
yeah.
more of that, but like a lot more of that. By throwing the Kid Wizard book at one of your magazines, you're taken to a Stress Level Zero showcase room, where on one side you see your mother working on her computer, and on the other, you're given models from the game, along with developer details. You quickly notice, though, that on the wall, there's a checklist of activities to do around our little virtual
Oh,
E3
yeah.
booth, like playing in the shooting gallery or collecting pizza. Complete all those tasks, and a cat clock appears, along with a creepy scrawled message along the show floor.
What?
It reads as follows.
Hello, little one. 30 years waiting for someone to open a gate, and finally
Nice cat.
these fools decide to use the Void Way. These fools.
The Void
these
Way?
Fools, these fools! Well, thank you for helping with my rescue. I left you a gift, but you can't have it just yet. First, you must be patient. There are others coming, and we must await their arrival. See you on the other side. 9.
So, this cat named Nine, a reference to a cat's 9 lives, just confirmed our assumptions about the void that we made in the last episode.
Whoa.
Does indeed exist in both Duck Season and Boneworks, and is the thing
Yeah.
connecting these two worlds. That's the good news. The bad news is,
Now.
by doing that checklist and talking to the cat, we just released the evil cat demon out into the world. Whoopsie!
Yep.
You see in a separate note the following warning. Kid Wizard, I am putting myself at great risk reaching you here. The showcase scene has been compromised. One of the cryptids is planning on crossing a gate here. Do Do not complete the puzzle. I repeat, the puzzle is a trap. But we can use this opportunity to stop them from
It's a
bridging
trap.
out. But we will need some additional help. The more you know, the more dangerous this all becomes. I'm afraid this time we may have to open the Boneworks. The Voidway was not meant to be used in such a frivolous manner to
They
show
actually-
us a game. They were not thinking. X. From there, we see the cat's paw prints walking towards 3 doors. One labeled Boneworks, one open door labeled Dead FM, and the last one labeled Machine King. Well, we know that
Wait.
the first one is definitely a stress level 0 game.
Oh!
The others are also based on their future projects.
Wait.
FM sounds like it'll be a game about spooky radio station broadcasts. And based on the bloody cross iconography on the 3rd door, it looks like Machine King will be a much more violent horror title or
Wait.
action title. It's also worth noting that the cat prints walk through the Dead FM door. While the cat does appear throughout Boneworks on various walls throughout the game, it isn't a big presence like it is in Duck Season. The cat prints walking through the Dead FM door, though, seems to imply that it'll have a much bigger role.
Yeah, wait a minute.
In fact, we also know based on X's note that whatever the gameplay is for these future titles, the meta gameplay behind it all is going to be trying to stop the cryptid animals from escaping out into the real world. Kind of like what we saw with the dog in this game. But Duck Season PC has an even bigger secret that it's hiding. After you get all of the game's main endings, you can play a hidden Halloween mode
Oh,
by playing
yeah.
the Kid Wizard book at your mom's computer, and then again at this pumpkin. At the end, you get abducted by a UFO, unlocking a cereal box back in your main living room. Here, there's a series of riddles against the back of the box that you have to solve by tapping the box against the appropriate items, including your video game collection and a banana. You'd think that'd be enough, but we're not even close. In addition to the 10 riddles on the back of the box, you also have to complete a summoning circle.
Wait.
Back in my day, cereal boxes had mazes on them, and you were happy with that. None of this hoodoo voodoo nonsense, but what can I say? Just another thing those millennials are ruining. Anyway, to complete the summoning, you need to find 5 tarot cards hidden throughout all the various secret areas in the game. Each card represents something important from the stress level 0 meta lore. The cat, the other animal cryptid of the monkey, the cursed game card representative of Duck Season itself,
Oh.
the candle, which is necessary for any good summoning seance, and lastly, a mysterious bloody card known as the entity. When all of these are found and placed on the cereal box,
Wait.
finally your summoning ritual is complete, and you're taken to yet another secret room. Here, we can find a clipboard with a transcript between 2 Monogon employees, identified only by their employee number.
Wait,
Their
what?
chat reads as follows.
So this is how Gammon is accessing the Voidway? Seems kinda dangerous since they aren't securing pathways.
Wait.
Could lead to actual material extraction.
No worse than us. At least they aren't piping the Voidway directly into people's cerebral cortex.
The consequences here are insane. You have to realize just how big of an impact
Wait,
this
but
can
they
have
did.
if anyone manages to bridge
They
the
did.
Of course they have. We would do the same. It was obvious they were entering. Can't think of any private companies besides maybe Saber Lake that have crossed in.
Careful, they could be reading this comm. They have opened Pandora's box. If they have figured out item duping, it is possible to extract even our security
Item
channels.
duping.
This table won't cut it, but if they manage to get here with a headset, Gammon could route through Boneworks into Myth. I'll patch it now. We know MGE number 7388A is Hayes, because it matches the employee number that we see for Hayes whenever he communicates with the player in Boneworks. As for who
Oh!
the other employee is, well, it's definitely not Alora, because it doesn't match Alora's employee number, which is MGE number 773AA.
So
we can assume that
Hayes-
it's probably Arthur Ford himself. At the end of the transcript, the unknown employee says that he found an exploit and says that he's going to patch it in the system, but then doesn't. In fact, it's the same exact exploit that Ford uses to break into the game, using a Gammon headset to route through Boneworks.
Wait, so he was a
Yeah,
double
the fact
agent.
that exploit is still there and that Ford uses that exact strategy when hacking into the system implies that that second employee is Arthur. But also notice what these two
Wow.
employees are talking about, the dangers of tapping into the void. First, they mention material extraction,
Yeah.
physically taking things from the virtual world out through the void and into the real world.
Ah.
I mean, this is our dog.
Duck
How did he
season.
get out of the virtual environment in order to attack us. Secondly, though, they bring up connecting the Voidway into the human mind. This goes to what
Yeah.
we were talking about last episode, about how Arthur is able to become immortal
Oh,
in the system
yeah.
by spawning into the void. The same holds true for our Duck Season dog, a human who somehow becomes a virtual being. He was hooked up into the void, and somehow his consciousness is able to live there. But notice this, by the end of Boneworks, things take a strange turn. Instead of fighting null bodies or VR zombies, you're now fighting dozens of clones of yourself. dozens of other Arthur Fords. Why? How? My guess is that you, as Arthur, have started taking over the null bodies for yourself, spreading your consciousness to a literal army of avatars in your own likeness. How could we do this when we just entered the void at the end of the game? Well, remember that the void exists beyond time and space. So in Boneworks, we play as Arthur entering the void, sure, but the things we're encountering may be things or instances of ourselves that have already happened. That's why, by the end of the game, we already exist in the hundreds and have to fight through hordes of our own clones. It also seems canonical that this game is once again headed towards FNAF VR territory. We're going to end up glitch trapping everyone. I mean, if everyone and everything is hooked up into the void, it means that any creature inside the void, evil cat cryptid, psycho killer dogs, or heck, even Arthur himself, could take over the mind of that machine, human, device, whatever. It looks like that's exactly what's going to happen based on what else we see in this room. Turning a bit, you'll notice that there's more information on Machine King, now with the full title, Hall of the Machine King. Based on the artwork, we know that not only will this be a gory and violent game, but that in it we'll be going up against a giant, hulking, living machine. And we just finished talking about Boneworks, a game where human minds are actively being pumped into machines and vice versa. So it looks like we saw the origin of this technology in Duck Season, the first time anyone tapped into the void. Then we saw the expansion and exploitation of that void-based technology in Boneworks. And finally we'll end in the final battle of man versus living machine in Hall of the Machine King, as the beings from the void start surging out, corrupting the minds of both man and machine alike, wiping humanity out for their hubris and tapping into the void for such frivolous things as video games. And above it all, my prediction is that there'll be one man leading the charge. Want to put bets on whether Arthur Ford is that game's final boss? The mind behind the Machine King in the third game of this little trilogy? That he was set up to invade the void in Boneworks so he could be the mastermind of the machine uprising in the final part of this trilogy? I certainly hope so. But there's one last little twist here. The headcanon I alluded to at the top of this episode.
Wait, but what about
that Arthur, star of Boneworks, our immortal void being at this point.
Wait, but what about the
actually
cat?
The star of all three games. That this whole stress level 0 metaverse is secretly his story, one of loss and revenge, a coming-of-age story involving corporate espionage and horrific murder, as all the best stories often do. But in order for that to be the case, it would mean that he would have had to have been there in Duck Season, and I absolutely believe that he was, and that there's enough evidence to support his presence there.
Yeah, because the time, the space and time.
Mini theory coming out soon, because for now, we have to leave it here. This episode is already just really long, so more on all that soon. In the meantime, remember, it's all just a theory. A game theory.
But like, yeah, honestly, I think that this could be really... But yeah, wasn't there like a third one, though, where the cat was going into? Yeah, why do you say trilogy? I don't know why, but honestly, I like this theory. I'm totally with it, honestly, yeah. This series seems... Well, I think how maybe I think how this could work, like how David could be Arthur, is because, yeah, once Arthur gets into the void, there's no space and time. So, yeah, he could just be there at, like, any time point in the universe. So, yeah, that's insane. But, yeah, anyways, guys, what do you think of this theory? I thought it was true. But, yeah, anyways, guys, enjoy, leave a like, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one. Bye!